What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude. Once again, my favorite Panthers are playing, so guys, they did win last time. Let's keep the tradition going. Let's put everyone together in the comments. Let's go Panthers. Very important game to win. And let's get now straight to the point and talk about some ridiculous Russian propaganda. Today we have some... because today we have some very actual news. And this one is the section called in the one of the Russian media website called RIA Novosti. This section is called Good Kind News. So the very first one is that in one of Crimean zoos, alpacas got very fashionable haircuts. Oh, it's so cute, right? The next news is that in one of Amur park, one of cranes, she kinda adopted the cranes from another bird and started raising as their own. Very cute as well, right? The news number 3 is that the president of France, Emmanuel Macron, he declared that Europe might die. Very cute as well, right? These news are not based on the algorithm, it is a person who places news in respective categories, so there was not a mistake. But to be honest, if you think about it, if this actually was an algorithm putting this news into the cool, kind, cute news, if you think about it, it makes it even worse. But okay, enough of the clownship. As always, time to get serious, talk about some stuff which happened in the south of Ukraine, and that Russians, they looks like decided to completely forsaken and abandon their Crimean Bridge as one of their main logistics. And then we're going to talk about the situation in the east, where apparently Russians decided to abandon several different front lines and decided to flee to the north, specifically to Kharkiv front line, because this is looks like their new attention point is. And before we talk about the situation in the south, unfortunately there was yet another massive attack by Russians against major Ukrainian cities, such as for example Kharkiv, Poltava, Zaporozhye, Odessa, Mykolaiv and Vinnytsia, as you can see right here on your map. And they were targeting, as they claim, always military objects. But Ukrainian air defense was absolutely flawless this night, intercepting 7 out of 11 Russian missiles and every single one of 32 Russian Shahed drones. And in the meantime, Ukrainian naval drones are way more successful than the ones of Russians. For example, right here is the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine released as this video, which showed the Ukrainian naval drone Magura V5, which was destroying Russian ships located in the Black Sea area. And these were landing ships KS-701 Tunets. Besides this, reportedly there was an ATACMS attack against one of Crimean Bridge ferry crossing, and we already have these satellite images and then even the pictures of the ferry itself, and indeed, as you can see, there is a very big hole on deck, which makes it definitely unusable and it needs to be repaired. And as a result of these attacks against the Russian fleet in the Black Sea area, Ukrainians were able to damage severely at least 7 different vessels, such as for example one pilot boat called Mechta, 2 ferries called Avangard and Conrad Raider, and 4 landing ships of the very same ones which I mentioned, KS-71 Tunets. So as you can see, it is no wonder that Russians are now literally afraid to continue using the Crimean Bridge. It is now easily within the range of Ukrainian attacks. That is why we have not heard much from this particular area happening recently. But because of this, Russians decided to construct new alternative ways for their southern logistics. And unfortunately there is this railway which goes through the southern occupied territories in Ukraine, which now is almost fully complete. Another section, as you can see from this picture, which connects Donetsk and Mariupol, is pretty much fully complete. Now we even have satellite images that Russian trains already start using particular sections of this entire railway. And in the end, whenever Russians are fully done, like 100% done, this will allow them to transport logistics across the entire southern parts of Ukraine, all the way from Crimean Peninsula down to Luhansk and Donetsk regions, potentially even further. But if you remember my previous videos, yes, Crimean Bridge is within Ukrainian attacks, but it is heavily guarded by Russians. This is the symbol of the regime of Putin, let's be honest. In the meantime, this railway was just rapidly built, there is nothing extraordinary, it is just a railway. And, most importantly, it is much closer to the front lines, which allow Ukrainians to attack it even more frequently and effectively. But unlike Crimean Bridge, repairing a railway will be much easier and faster for Russians. Now let's switch our attention to the east of Ukraine, and guys, before we continue, let's slowly go towards 250,000 subscribers. I mean, just think about it, 250,000 subscribers. Because as soon as we can reach this number, I would like to do a giveaway with some cash and gift card prizes. So feel free to like this video, subscribe to my channel, helps a lot. And also, if you want to hear some stock market news presented by me, I have my second channel, Russian Dude Investing. The link is down below. And so yeah, first of all is the video from Donetsk region, where is the Russian air defense system called Strela-10, which was trying to intercept one of Ukrainian drones. It failed to do it, but the drone did not hit the target either. And yet then was another Ukrainian drone, FPV-1, which was able to deconstruct this air defense system. Next is the bird's eye view of the Serebryansky forest located along Crimean front line, and as you can see, due to ongoing daily activities between Ukrainians and Russians, at this point the entire forest unfortunately has died. Then we have the report by the elite Ukrainian unit called Achilles along Kharkiv front line, and in the last 24 hours they were able to destroy a lot of Russian military equipment and personnel, specifically 2 T-72 tanks, artillery systems, a couple of transportational logistical trucks, and at least 9 Z soldiers. In Vovchansk, also along Kharkiv front line, the Ukrainian National Police Brigade called LUT joined the ranks of the Ukrainian forces to help them repel the attacks by Russians. And this offensive of Russians against this particular city started approximately 20 days ago, so just think about it. Less than a month ago, this city was full of life, people were going to work, kids were going to school. Now it is literally just stones and debris, nothing else, in less than a month. But fortunately, Ukrainians still control the major part of the city center and its main neighborhoods. At least 70% of Vovchansk is under Ukrainian control. And according to the most recent report by the Institute for the Study of War, Russians expanded their some offensive directions, and now they're trying to get closer to the next several settlements, such as Hlboki and Zelenie. And in order for Russians to be kinda successful in this operation, obviously they need way more people than they have right now, because once again in this whole entire month they were not able to achieve anything so far. For this reason, according to the Commander-in-Chief of Ukrainian Forces, Alexander Syrsky, he sees, according to his intelligence, that Russians shut down some of their front lines, most likely some particular ones in the south, a little bit in the east, the ones which were not looking promising that much for Russians anyways anymore. And they had to relocate them to Kharkiv, which basically means these front lines were abandoned by Russians, and now they literally fled to the north of Ukraine, trying to achieve something else there. And obviously Ukrainians will be much faster to react to this news. I mean, they're right there, so the relocation of Ukrainian forces will be much faster, so most likely they will be able to defend themselves against Russians. And in the meantime, what is good about this particular situation is that some particular front lines in the east and most likely in the south of Ukraine are now way less defended, and Ukrainians should take advantage of this opportunity. And since we briefly mentioned the Crimean Bridge, guys, you might have never heard about this, but there was almost a genius plan by the Ukrainian military commandment how to destroy this bridge, which unfortunately, this plan never came to happen in real life. So let's talk about this plan, which by the way was presented by the ex-Minister of Defense Alexei Reznikov. Yes, you guys hopefully still remember this guy. And this chapter is going to be extra on my Patreon for me saying, guys, thank you so much for your support. So if you want to keep watching and also see hundreds of uncensored extra photos and videos, the link to my Patreon is down below. Literally, the best way to support my work. For this, thank you so much. Well, there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Let's get closer to 250,000. Don't forget about my second channel, the Russian Dude Investing. All the other useful links are down below. My merch, there is a spin the wheel where you can win discounts. PayPal, Patreon, Instagram, everything is down below. Thanks so much for watching. See you tomorrow.